All right, so for a stadium or a arena, you guys need to start with a field or a court. And so when you think about a field or a court, we have already shown you how to draw something very similar to a field or a court. Can you guys think of what that might be? Go ahead. The parking lot, right. The parking lot is very similar to a field or a court. So basically what you're going to do in a field or a court is you're going to start by drawing a line that's parallel to this horizon line. We're going to bring this down and we're just going to draw a parallel line right here. Okay? Then each end of that parallel line, the left end goes to the vanishing point, the right end goes to the vanishing point, and then we go parallel, drop it down, and over, and we'll erase this little bit here. Now that can represent a field or a court or a playground square or whatever. It could even actually be a swimming pool if you wanted it to be. Okay? But in order to draw it, you guys, you have to have a line parallel to the horizon, a line going to the vanishing point, and another line going to the vanishing point. And then the back line parallel to the horizon line. I have seen students in the past draw to the vanishing point, and then try to make their field look like this. And it kind of looks like it's flying in outside, doesn't it? Okay? So, I mean, that's the difference between making sure you're parallel to the horizon, going to the vanishing point, parallel to the horizon. Okay? So, now that we have our field or court established, typically, somewhere on that field or a court, there's going to be a midfield or a halfway line. And then we're going to throw in maybe an end zone here, or the goalie area, or it could be volleyball, or it could be the three-point line, whatever it might be. I'm going to turn this into a football field. So I've got a goal post here, like this. This end's a little bit closer to me, so this is going to be a little bigger goal post, like this. Now if I would have wanted, let's say, a basketball hoop, this hoop right here would have been drawn like this, where I make this so you can see this part, where it hooks, and you'll see part of the net there. This one down here. We see this one. See the two different hoops? Okay? And then if you wanted to do a soccer goal, the soccer goal here, you make the opening of the goal right here, just like this. And then you go from the vanishing point, curve down here, like this. If it's one you're kicking in here, on the other end, again, make your opening. Then you go to the vanishing point, curve down. It looks like that. Okay? If it was, this is going to look really weird on my field, but if it was, let's say, tennis court, you'd have a net that came across like this. If it was volleyball, we'd have the top part of that net right there with the little extras, and this would be the netting part. See that? Okay. Now, to draw a stadium, we start with a high school type stadium. The high school type stadium goes to the opposite of the field over here. And I'm going to put a line right here. And I'm going to go to the vanishing point, straight up and down. I'm going to angle back. Actually, probably up this way. Angle back, and I got to go to the vanishing point here. Okay? And then I would draw this down and over to make the stands. You see how those can be stands? Okay? Now, here comes the tricky part. To turn this into a big, giant stadium, you have to follow your top line and figure out how you think your top line would work its way around this field. And then everything underneath of it you erase. Now this is a great lesson for reminding yourself to draw lightly. Okay? Because if you don't draw lightly, you're not going to be able to erase some of this stuff. So you always want to be drawing lightly on your own stuff. And then what you'll do is you'll come down and you'll kick out the outside of the arena or stadium like this. And the inside you would see where they're sitting here like this. And you might have ways to get in, maybe there are little curved things like this. Over here we might actually have a big press booth like this, little press box or suites, and then you might have a big giant jumbotron here giving us a score and any other nonsense on there. You might have big lights on your stadium. Okay? Question?
How would you make a baseball stadium?
Baseball stadium is probably one of the hardest things to draw. And I'll help you here in just a second. I'll show you guys that in just a second. So, you guys, a dome is probably one of the easiest things to draw. You're going to go straight down. You're going to do a curve here. You're going to do a curve here. And then straight down in the center of that, you have your little dots. It's kind of like doing this pyramid. But everything's curved just like this. Okay? Now, a baseball field, you guys, is going to be tricky. A baseball field or a softball field, if you think about a football field going to the vanishing point, going to the vanishing point like this, and so if you think about the entire field, so your baseball field has to fit on here. So that means when you figure out home plate, second base, that means your outfield has to go out like this, and it's going to be angled and come back this way. Third base is going to be over here. First base is going to be like this. It's going to be a funky thing that's kind of laying down. Unless you're in love with baseball, I wouldn't try it because it's really tricky. Okay? But this is how you draw fields, courts, and stadiums. And then remember, that could have been turned into a swimming pool. It could have been a park. It could have been a lot of stuff. All right? So you have today to work.